Yeah.
Okay, great. So I wanted to illustrate why efficiency is so important to our operation. Thanks for your patience there. We cultivate just under 2 acres, an acre and a half outdoor garden. We have part of our infrastructure, a passive solar greenhouse, a large high tunnel, 2 smaller movable high tunnels, 2 caterpillar tunnels, 4 low-tech low tunnels. That's a term that I borrowed from Calypso. A wash and pack house, complete with a walk-in vegetable cooling room, a wood shop with an underground root cellar, and we do all of our cultivation primarily by hand with the help of 1 small walk-behind BCS tractor. We have several avenues of sale. We sell through CSA subscriptions. And we're really excited that this year we went with an online platform, Farmigo, to manage our CSA software. It's been super helpful. We've had really good response so far, and I think it's going to serve us really well through this crisis that we're seeing. We also generally do 2 deliveries per week to restaurants. We'll see how that changes this season. We market at the Homer Farmers Markets, or we vend at the Homer Farmers Market twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, as well as sell on the online Alaska Food Hub. Are the slides moving as I go? Okay, I'm getting a nod to yes. So all of this we do with primarily just 4 crew members. It's myself. I do all the businessy parts of running the farm. I try to be in the field as much as possible. That's my favorite place to be. Manage the CSA, and I vend the Saturday market most of the time. Allison is my right-hand gal. She's been with me 7 years now. This will be her 7th year. She helps me with oversight of all operations, helps me manage field staff and the work traders, and also helps vend at the farmers market on Saturdays. Bree, this is her 2nd year. She's a part-time employee, works 2 days a week, but she comes in full speed, and she's always in the field when she's with us here on the farm, and she can help manage our work traders. We have a new hire this year, a new local hire. His name is Kevin. He'll be working 3 days a week. He'll be primarily part of the field crew, but he'll take on some of the delivery driving, and he'll do our Wednesday market for us. In addition to our core crew, we take in work traders, and that looks like 5 community members is what we shoot for, who come in for 4 hours a week. They're in the field doing some of the tasks that we don't always have time to do, like thinning and weeding, and they pick a shift, 1 shift during the week, and they commit to the entire season. So training them in the beginning of the season is a really nice way, and then they stay with us and they get a share of vegetables for their work with us. And then to round out our crew, we have an incredible support crew, mostly here in the neighborhood. They volunteer or are contracted as needed, and they can help us with maintenance and carpentry, some small engine mechanics, and event setup when we need it. Oh. This is a snapshot of what a schedule, a weekly schedule during season looks like for us. It's super packed. We have to maintain our 4 deliveries per week, our 2 markets per week, our CSA, wash and pack and distribute, our online distribution and sales, and all of the things that we have to do on the farm in between all of those things. So the sowing the seeds, transplanting, field prep, that all has to happen every single week. And we do take Sundays off. It's really important for us to schedule downtime throughout the season and during the week so we can help prevent burnout. And we now stick closer to this schedule starting at 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, depending if deliveries are going out in the morning, and we bags down 5 p.m. We really try to stay to that schedule. So some of the keys that we've found to help us with our success on the farm, efficiency being the major one, and some of the tools that we use to help with that efficiency is planning ahead. And during the winter months is when I create the entire calendar for the season. So all of our seeding dates, all of our transplant dates, their delivery schedule, all of those things are planned during the winter. So when we can get into the field, we can just hit the ground running and don't have to think about all the organization that has to happen. That's already done. Hiring the right crew has been huge. I'm super lucky to have crew that wants to come back year after year. I've noticed that collegiate athletes are really good farmers. Their skill set of teamwork and strength really transfers well to working on a farm. So just a little tip for anyone that's looking to hire out there. I highly recommend it. Using the right tools.
Kind of a little flyer that she had sent me with some information, so you guys can check that out if you'd like. And to go back to, Kaylee's idea, I think that I can start a private group.
Rejuvenate and just take some time for myself, and then every single Sunday is the same thing. So downtime's crucial. Using the right tools, more what we're focusing on today. The transitions are a little slow, sorry guys. Which brings us to our specialty crop block grant. When I was writing this, I wanted to identify some of the limitations that we have as producers in Alaska. In my entire farming career, which is going on 20 years, it's kind of hard to believe, but it's true. I have been constantly frustrated with the disconnect that we have as Alaskan producers from everything else that's going on across the nation. Of course, Zoom conferences are super helpful, and all the YouTube videos that are out there, and all of the information and the resource sharing that's going on. But hands-on is really key for me as a learner and as a farmer, and I feel really disconnected from a lot of the things that are happening across the country. So another thing, which really was the reason I wrote this grant, is a limited opportunity to trial tools and see demonstration sites. There is an incredible slew of tools coming into our industry right now, and they're expensive, but they're really well made. But the thing is that if we don't get to try them in our own fields, we don't really know if they're gonna work. So I ordered a seeder, a precision seeder, years ago. I was super excited about it. Paid all the money to buy it and get it shipped up here, put it in my field, and it didn't work out. And I was really bummed. It was a lot of time and money that felt wasted, and I just didn't want to see that to keep happening. So that was really a big reason why I wrote this grant. And as Alaskan producers, we're just have a unique set of challenges. My farm is sloping. A lot of the examples that we see out there are flat lands. I'm working with 15% organic matter in my soil, which is amazing for soil health, but harder when you're working with precision tools. And a lot of the examples that we see on these videos, national-wide videos, you know, those farmers and producers are gearing for 4 to 7% organic matter in their soil. So we're working with a lot of different challenges and benefits up here. So trying to find some solutions to those things. I wanted to set up Twitter Creek Gardens as a demonstration farm. So we had an in-state option to gather together, have on-site workshops, get these tools here in Alaska so we can put our hands on them and try them out, and work on a set of Alaskan producer-specific videos. I'll be launching a YouTube video series here soon, and really help with networking and collaboration. So I feel like I keep hearing that as a continual theme throughout today is don't reinvent the wheel, work together. We're bushwhacking this mountain together. So a way to really bring us together and help with some of these more technical issues that we might see on our farms. So with the specialty crop block grant, I purchased a pretty significant list of tools to get here on the farm so I could test them out, have other farmers across the state come here and test them out and see which ones will work and which ones won't. That seems like it's coming in a little weird, but hopefully you're seeing that. And I'm just gonna go through these one at a time pretty quickly. I don't have, you know, all the time to kind of go in the nuts and bolts of these, but that's what the YouTube videos will be for. So number one on the list are paper pot transplanter. All of these tools that I have listed are really to increase efficiency, and efficiency means reduction in labor costs, and efficiency also means increase in revenue and yields a lot of times. So The paper pot transplanter uses these super cool paper pot chains. Dawn and Donna Ray of Oceanside Farms are there demonstrating for us at our last September producer workshop, which was super fun and successful, and I was really happy to be able to host that. And it's just a transplanting mechanism. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail, but these paper pot chains unravel as you drag this seeder through your bed, and it digs the furrow, plants the plant, and tucks them in all in one sweep. So we estimate that we can plant 1,200 beets per bed, which would take us transplanting by hand about an hour for 2 people. We can do with the paper pot transplanter in about 20 minutes. 1 person, 20 minutes. The vacuum seeder is next on the list, and another super basic tool. You can buy these pre-made or make them by hand pre-made. They're anywhere from $500 to $1,000, but you can make them for a lot less. It's basically just a sheet of plexiglass and a little box. You hook a vacuum up to it. This is the simplified version, obviously. Drill holes that match your seed tray. Smaller than this, the holes are smaller than the seed. Hook the vacuum up, turn it on. It suctions seeds into the tiny holes. And there's usually a little gutter at the bottom that you can pour off the excess seed and put them back into the seed packet. Drop that entire thing over your seed tray, turn the vacuum off, and bam, the whole tray is planted all at once. So what might take us, you know, a minute or a minute and a half to sow an entire flat, this would take more like 10 to 15 seconds. Heat mats for germination, pretty basic. Most of you are probably familiar with this. Just optimizing temperatures for seed germination. That really decreases the waste of seeds, increases the speed, gets things moving out of your nursery quicker. We've used these iPower mats with a 4-tray capacity, but in the future, I think I would move to the Ready Heats, which are bigger capacity. The Jang seeder. This is the Cadillac of all precision seeders as far as we're concerned. This has been an amazing tool as far as planting accuracy. Last year we planted 10 full beds of carrots, and within each bed we plant 5 rows, so that's 50 rows of carrots. Took us about a half hour to sow all of those seeds, and getting them to germinate is another thing, but there's some tips and tricks to that too. But if you can get them to germinate, for us there was pretty much 0 thinning, and carrot thinning can be a huge time suck on a farm. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that. But in any thinning that we did do, we could harvest and bundle and sell because the carrots were big enough, just allowing more space for full-grown carrots. So it's adjustable. It works really well in higher organic matter soils. It can handle rougher soils really well. Yeah, it's just an incredible tool. Big fan. That's Bo from Farragut Farms, by the way, demonstrating for us in that picture. Shout out to Bo and Maria. Capillary mats, this again is in the plant nursery. It's pretty basic. It's just basically a felt sheet, and you saturate it with water, and little cells in the mat fill with water, and you put your seed trays on. It's for bottom watering. It's really easy to set up and monitor and get the right moisture level for your plants. So it's just enhances production again in your nursery. You can also use it with the heat mats in cooperation with the heat mats, so you have the right moisture levels and temperature levels for seed germination and growth in those early stages, which are so crucial to plant health. A couple different cultivating tools, ergonomically correct. Amy Pettit, I'm sure you'd be very proud. It's kind of like farm yoga, but we have the biodiscer here, which is adjustable, so it can cultivate. Again, I just want to point out that the standard in the market gardening industry and what all of these tools are really being made for are 30-inch wide beds. So for the biodiscer, for example, a crop of beets, we can plant 3 rows in one 30-inch bed, and this will cultivate between those beds and help kind of mound the soil up around those plants that you want to leave in place. And then the thyme weeder is more for super tightly spaced crops like our salad greens. And those are just little wire fingers that you run in between the rows, and they help eliminate those tiny weed seeds. And the key to both of these is getting those weeds right when they're starting to emerge. But because it's so easy and fast, it makes it really doable to actually catch them at that stage. Caterpillar tunnels, I'm trying to check my time. I think I'm okay. Caterpillar tunnels, another big plus for us on the farm. They're smaller in height than the typical high tunnels that you see on a lot of farms. I prefer growing in these. Actually, before the Caterpillar tunnels came on the farm, the low-tech low tunnels were my favorite things to grow in. But they, at least in Homer, this is really beneficial. It keeps the heat closer to the soil. So during the summertime, that heat is right on the soil, and we can grow a more diverse selection of crops, especially warmer loving ones in these kind of tightly spaced structures, and it helps with the season extension on either end. And another use for them is something that we wanted to trial is a hardening tunnel. They have really super easy ways to ventilate the sides and just keep that airflow going, so you can harden off your plants in a pretty simple, easy to put up structure. And this is a picture of our basil tunnel from last year. These were hedges. They were just as tall as our waist and plugged full, and I really haven't seen basil grow like that since I worked with Gretchen at Basically Basil up in Fairbanks. And as we know, temperatures in Fairbanks in the summer are super different than temperatures in Homer. So the fact that we can create that kind of microclimate with such a pretty affordable and easy structure has been huge. So silage tarps, another really crucial tool on our operation. We prep beds fully and then place this tarp over those prepped beds. We cut them to 80 feet long, which all of our outdoor beds in our garden are 80 feet long. So it fits perfectly on our 80-foot beds. We do 10 beds at a time. We prep them, and we use these mostly as succession crops. I think one kind of turnoff of using silage tarps is the length of time that you have to have them covering your beds before you can plant. But if you're doing succession cropping, it can be really useful. And another word for it is occultation, and what we call them on our farm is the magic carpet. And basically, after our beds are prepped, and anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the time of year and the heat, the temperature, the ambient temperature, we can peel them back and just plant directly into our beds and never touch a weed. So it's pretty amazing. Here's some examples of some salad green beds from a couple years ago after applying the magic carpet. And to not have to weed between salad greens that are planted 2 inches apart, 12 per row, is just huge. And to grow rows of salad greens like this works really well with this next tool, the Quick Cuts Green Harvester. So the Quick Cuts Green Harvester right here is one of those tools where I watched the video and I was thinking there's no way, there's just no way. It's not gonna work like that. I don't believe it, not buying it. But was able to purchase it through this grant, was so impressed. I did a time trial last year. I harvested single-handedly 50 pounds of greens in 15 minutes. So that is an incredible time saver. It's just like, I don't know, 4 times or 6 times less amount of time to harvest these greens. And salad greens are a major crop for us, so this is huge. And then couple that with the green spinner right here was just an old washing machine where it's just set to use the spin cycle. And the combination of these two, we can harvest and wash 100 pounds of greens in 1 hour.
So Emily, we got about 5 minutes left.
Okay, I think I can do this. Thank you. So moving into our wash station, real quick, this is something that we were building last year, but one of the things that we added as a component, we got a cool bot with the grant, and that just maintains a cool temperature inside an insulated box, essentially. It works with an air conditioning unit. And what's so big for us is that it's now on the side of our wash station. So everything that we get out of the field, we can wash and put right into refrigeration, reduces the transpiration rate, helps, you know, keep those vegetables alive longer and that nutrient higher before we get it out to our customers. Trying to move quick here. So I'll get into more detail if anyone wants to privately later. But here's a list of other tools that we use on the farm to kind of round out our system. And I'm not going to read these, you know, one by one, but happy to share any of this information with you. So a lot of hand tools with just a couple of mechanized tools is how we make our farm run.
Thank you.
And oh, am I out of time?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
Not quite. I'm almost there. You can't really see this, or it's not showing up on my screen, but I'm happy to share it. It's just a list of all these tools, how much they cost, where I got them, some notes. Those are all things that I really want to share and have accessible to other producers. Some of the things I already talked about to look forward to are YouTube video series. Hopefully we can do our on-farm workshop. We want to do a print film as well. If there's any communities farther and wider that don't have access to internet, we can get this to them. The lending library, if you have any questions about that, you can use these tools on your farms as well to trial them out, more data collection and such. Now I'm really hustling. Yeah, and just trying to keep working towards all of our common goal to collaborate, work together, not reinvent the wheel, identify needs, work together to find solutions, feed Alaskans, and also get flowers on their tables and windowsills. I don't want to leave those flower farmers out. So thank you so much. All of you are amazing. All the work that's going on right now to help us through this crisis and help us move forward and reach these goals. I'm just so thankful to be a part of this conference and a part of this greater Alaskan community. Much love to you guys. Fist bumps.
Thank you, Emily.